Welcome to the Allied Airpower podcast, NATO's sole broadcast that patrols the full spectrum of air, space, and cyberspace. Wherever you serve, consider this your ground truth for alliance activity above the clouds, beyond the atmosphere, and across the digital domain.
Headline: Neptune Strike 2026, a premier enhanced vigilance activity conducted in the Western and Central Mediterranean Sea. Led by Naval Striking and Support Forces NATO, headquartered in Oeiras, Portugal, Neptune Strike 26, or NES 26, spanned the southern and southeastern flanks, reinforcing the alliance's readiness, cohesion, and responsiveness in a region of critical strategic importance. This iteration, concluded on the 30th of April, 2026, showcased the dynamic integration of advanced maritime strike capabilities in a demanding, multi-domain environment. The activity highlighted the North Atlantic Treaty Organization's ability to project credible deterrence while remaining flexible and agile in the face of complex and rapidly evolving security challenges. The Enhanced Vigilance Activity, NES 26, brought together carrier strike groups, amphibious strike groups, land-based, air, and maritime forces from across the alliance, emphasizing the North Atlantic Treaty Organization's ability to operate seamlessly across domains and national boundaries. Through close cooperation and shared training, Allied forces continue to build trust, sharpen operational effectiveness, and reaffirm their commitment to collective security. The North Atlantic Treaty Organization has just concluded the second iteration. As part of the multi-domain approach, Allied Air Command contributed with Royal Air Force Typhoon Eurofighters and Romanian F-16 jets, which conducted integrated air operations. The Royal Air Force Typhoon aircraft are deployed to Romania as part of the North Atlantic Treaty Organization's Enhanced Air Policing Mission under EASTERN SENTRY Enhanced Vigilance Activity. The integrated air operations focused on aligning tactics, procedures, and command and control arrangements, enabling United Kingdom and Romanian aircrews to operate as a single, cohesive force. Operating together strengthened the interoperability and demonstrated how routine assurance activities directly support wider alliance readiness and collective defense. The United Kingdom and Romanian fighter jets operated alongside forces from Albania, Bulgaria, France, Greece, Montenegro, Portugal, and Turkey, which enabled crews to align tactics, procedures, and command and control arrangements, ensuring they integrated quickly and effectively when needed. A United Kingdom Royal Air Force pilot said, "Being pre-deployed in Romania on our own Enhanced Vigilance Activity mission, EASTERN SENTRY, provided a unique level of efficiency. Neptune Strike allowed us to step aside from routine operations and train together against complex challenges, proving that we can integrate seamlessly with our counterparts at a moment's notice." Operating in international airspace over the Black Sea, Allied air forces kept a visible and persistent North Atlantic Treaty Organization presence in the region. These activities contribute directly to the North Atlantic Treaty Organization's 360-degree approach to deterrence and defense, ensuring the alliance remains vigilant and ready to respond to threats from any direction, directly contributing to the effectiveness of other enhanced vigilance activity missions near the alliance's eastern flank, such as EASTERN SENTRY. The participation of Royal Air Force Typhoon and Romanian F-16 aircraft continues to test and prove the North Atlantic Treaty Organization's ability to operate cohesively, decisively, and lawfully. Enhanced vigilance activities throughout the Allied territory, such as Neptune Strike, EASTERN SENTRY, Arctic Sentry, and Baltic Sentry, underscore the North Atlantic Treaty Organization's 360-degree protection across Allied territory on the sea, on land, and in the air. This highlights the enduring commitment of North Atlantic Treaty Organization nations to collective defense and regional stability, showing that 32 nations as one are willing to fight tonight, tomorrow, and together, protecting the Allied public and people. Story by Allied Air Command Public Affairs Office, with support from Naval Striking and Support Forces NATO. Published May 10, 2026.
Headline: French Rafales supporting NATO Baltic air policing mission in Lithuania. Around 100 French Air and Space Force aviators have been deployed to Lithuania since April 1 for NATO's Baltic Air Policing 71 mission, flying 4 Rafale fighter jets from Cholet Air Base. Interoperability isn't just about plugging in the same connectors. The French detachment is contributing to the protection of the Baltic state skies under NATO command during the 4-month deployment. On March 31, the French contingent took over from a Spanish detachment, continuing a mission NATO has maintained without interruption since 2004 to safeguard nations that do not have their own fighter aircraft for air defense. From Cholet, the French crews operate alongside Romanian and Portuguese F-16 detachments as part of NATO's peacetime air policing posture on the alliance's northeastern flank. Since the start of the mission, French Rafale fighter jets have been scrambled around 10 times to intercept Russian military aircraft flying in the Baltic area of responsibility without a flight plan or radio contact. NATO's Combined Air Operations Center in ODM, Germany, directs the launches and interceptions of the deployed aircraft in Lithuania. The deployment is also focused on training with allies. During the week of April 20th, French Rafale fighter jets and Romanian F-16s carried out air defense drills over the Baltic Sea, alternating between aggressor and defender roles in scenarios involving identification, maneuver, and simulated engagement. A French pilot, whose name remains protected to ensure personal security, said after one mission, "Interoperability isn't just about plugging in the same connectors. It's about understanding how the other person thinks, what they see on their screen, where they're going to position themselves. That comes from flying together." Cooperation extends beyond flying operations. On March 27, French weapons technicians carried out weapons removal training on Romanian F-16s as part of cross-servicing activities designed to improve interoperability and support agile combat employment, NATO's approach to more flexible and resilient air operations. Romanian mechanics are also due to work on French Rafale fighter jets, broadening technical knowledge on both sides and reducing the logistical burden of operating together in theater. Story by Allied Air Command Public Affairs Office, with support from the French Air and Space Force. Published May 12, 2026.
Headline: Airpower underpins Swedish-led exercise AURORA 26. Swedish and Allied air forces rehearsed distributed airpower during AURORA 26, Sweden's first AURORA exercise as a NATO ally. The exercise ran from April 27 to May 13 across Sweden, the Baltic Sea and Gotland, bringing about 18,000 participants from 13 countries together, to include Sweden, to test Sweden's NATO-adapted operational plans, host nation support, and reinforcement of strategically important areas. Airpower formed a core part of the scenario, with Swedish JAS-39 Gripen S, Dutch AH-64 Apache attack helicopters, air defense assets, and air-ground integration supporting the wider joint exercise. A key contribution was Agile Combat Employment, or ACE, which trains air forces to operate from dispersed locations, sustain aircraft away from main bases, and keep generating combat power under pressure. During AURORA 26, conscripts from Blekinge A Wing and Karelia Air Wing conducted aircraft cross-servicing on JAS-39 Gripen S and FA-18 Hornets during a quick turnaround at Kalmar Civilian Airport, demonstrating Swedish-Finnish cooperation and the practical skills needed to support aircraft across national lines. The activity also pointed towards NATO Allied Air Command's, AIRCOM's, Premier Live-Fly exercise, Ramstein Flag 2026, which will run from June 8 to June 19 across northern and southern Europe. Ramstein Flag is a large-scale, tactical level and air-focused training event designed to place Allied air forces in realistic, complex, and contested scenarios, where red adversary forces challenge blue friendly forces. The exercise, led independently by AirCom for the first time, will involve 19 nations, more than 150 Allied aircraft, and about 20 operational locations. Primarily hosted by Denmark, Finland, Norway, Sweden, and Spain, the exercise will primarily focus on counter-anti-access and area denial, C-A2AD, integrated air and missile defense, IAMD, agile combat employment, and seamless information, intel, and data sharing. In AURORA 26, Airpower was integrated with maritime and land forces throughout. In the northern Stockholm archipelago, Swedish Navy and Air Force units conducted integrated targeting and live engagement, while on Gotland the reinforcement phase included a US Avenger air defense system near Visby, underscoring NATO's defensive and proportionate posture in the Baltic region. Swedish, Finnish, Dutch, and US aeromedical evacuation professionals also trained together in the medical component of the exercise, practicing and exercising life-saving skills during a simulated medical emergency. A Swedish C-130 Hercules and other airlift assets played a pivotal role during this part of AURORA 26, providing high-fidelity training to Allied aeromedical aircrew and experts. Lastly, the exercise also saw robust training on counter-unmanned aircraft systems, CUAS. NATO operators integrated Ukrainian drone experience into training in southern Sweden, where Ukrainian specialists supported counter-drone learning, red team activity, and seminars on modern drone warfare. Their participation brought frontline lessons into the exercise, helping Allied forces refine tactics for detecting, understanding, and countering uncrewed aerial systems in a contested environment, critical for enhancing capabilities and proficiency in the AirCom-led Enhanced Vigilance Activity, EASTERN Sentry.
By combining fighter, helicopter, airlift, air defense, maintenance, and command and control, C2 activity, AURORA 26 showed how Allied air forces contribute to rapid reinforcement, deterrence, and defense. The exercise strengthened readiness and interoperability, while previewing the distributed operations and multi-domain integration that will shape Ramstein Flag 2026. Story by Allied Air Command Public Affairs Office, with support from the Swedish Armed Forces and the Finnish Air Force. Published May 14, 2026.
Headline: NATO allies strengthen interoperability during NATO Tiger Meet 2026. From May 4 to 15, 2026, aircraft and personnel from across the alliance gathered at Aurora Air Base in Greece for exercise NATO Tiger Meet 2026, hosted by 335 Squadron of the Hellenic Air Force, bringing together aircrew, maintainers, and support personnel from 9 allied nations. The exercise focused on improving interoperability, refining tactics, and strengthening cooperation in a demanding multinational environment. Originally established in 1961 as a meeting between a small number of squadrons sharing the Tiger emblem, the NATO Tiger Association has evolved into a major multinational training event involving fighter aircraft, helicopters, and supporting assets from across the alliance. This year's exercise included participation from Belgium, Czechia, Germany, Greece, Hungary, Italy, Poland, Spain, and Switzerland. Participating units operated a wide range of aircraft, including F-16 Fighting Falcons, Eurofighters, Gripens, Tornadoes, Hornets, Venom helicopters, and HH-101 helicopters. Lieutenant General Demo Sthehnis Grigorichdes, Chief of the Hellenic Air Force General Staff, highlighted the strategic importance of multinational training in today's security environment. Lieutenant General Demo Sthehnis Grigorichdes said during the exercise Distinguished Visitors Day, in modern warfare, where skies serve as both battlegrounds and corridors of deterrence, the mastery of air power stands paramount. Lieutenant General Demo Sthehnis Grigorichdes continued, exercises like the NATO Tiger Meet provide the ideal framework to train as a team, to enhance interoperability, and to ensure that we can respond collectively, decisively, and effectively to any emerging threat. He also underlined the importance of adapting to evolving threats, including the growing role of unmanned systems and multi-domain operations. Lieutenant General Demo Sthehnis Grigorichdes said, "The nature of warfare is rapidly evolving. We are witnessing the increasing use of low-cost, highly effective unmanned combat aerial vehicles, which are reshaping the battle space and challenging traditional concepts of air superiority." For Brigadier General Michel, French Air Force, retired, and now advisor to the NATO Tiger Association, interoperability remains at the center of the exercise. Brigadier General Michel said, "The NATO Tiger Meet is a nest of interoperability, a nest of friendship, and a nest of tradition. There is something very strong in the links between the participating units." Throughout the 2-week exercise, participating units trained together in increasingly complex scenarios designed to replicate modern operational challenges. Aircrews integrated while working against simulated threats in contested environments. Brigadier General Michel said, "Each year we meet together to improve our tactics, work together, and adapt to emerging threats such as drones and missiles. The exercise evolves continuously to remain realistic and relevant to the security environment we face today." The exercise also incorporated non-fighter capabilities to create a more comprehensive operational environment. Brigadier General Michel added, "We also integrate supporting assets that are not part of the Tiger community, such as drones, NATO Airborne Early Warning and Control Force, NAEW and CF, and naval units at sea, in order to create the most realistic operational environment possible." For NATO allies, exercises such as Tiger Meet provide more than tactical training. They help build trust between aircrews, commanders, and support personnel who may one day operate together in real-world missions and operations. Lieutenant General Demo Sthehnis Grigorichdes said, "As conflicts around the globe continue to unfold, the imperative to shape superiority and ensure security in the skies remains the only route to a stable and prosperous future for our nations." Looking ahead, organizers emphasize that multinational training and cohesion will remain essential for alliance readiness. Brigadier General Michel said, We are already working on the future editions of the NATO Tiger Meet with a long-term plan because we believe this interoperability is essential. We need to continue training together to be ready to face challenges together, like Tigers. Participating units included 31 Squadron, Belgian Air Force, operating F-16A and BMLU Fighting Falcons, awarded the Best OPS trophy. 25 Gruppo, Italian Air Force, operating HH-101 Caesar helicopters, winner of the Silver Tiger and the Special Painted Aircraft. 335 Myra, Hellenic Air Force, operating F-16C and D Fighting Falcons. Staffel 11, Swiss Air Force, operating FA-18C and D Hornets. Taktisches Luftwaffengeschwader 51, German Air Force, operating Tornado IDS and ECR aircraft. 221 Helicopter Squadron, Czech Air Force, operating AH-1Y Venom helicopters, awarded for Special Tiger Spirit. 12th Gruppo, Italian Air Force, operating EF-2000 Eurofighters. ALA-15, Spanish Air and Space Force, operating EF-18 plus Hornets. 101/1 Squadron, Hungarian Air Force, operating JAS-39C and D Gripens. 6th Tactical Squadron, Polish Air Force, operating F-16C and D Fighting Falcons. The winner of the Special Painted Aircraft and also the Silver Tiger is 12th Gruppo, Italian Air Force. 12th Gruppo is also set to host NATO Tiger Meet 2027 in Gioia del Colle. Story by Allied Air Command Public Affairs Office, with support from the Hellenic Air Force. Published May 18, 2026.
Headline: Finland hosts Agile Combat Employment-Focused Exercise, Imminent Field 26. Finland's Air Force is running its Imminent Field 26 highway-based exercise, previously known as the Barna exercise, from May 18 to 22, 2026, training dispersed flying operations alongside Italian F-35B fighters, enhancing ISM's Agile Combat Employment (ACE) readiness. At the Joukkoroinen landing site in Finland, built on a closed stretch of Highway 2, Finnish FA-18 Hornets and other aircraft are practicing landings and takeoffs away from their home bases as part of Finland's mobile battle concept, which included low-altitude flying. For the first time, Italy brought their F-35B Lightning II fighters to Imminent Field, joining Finnish aircraft on the road strip on May 19 to rehearse short landing and takeoff procedures. The Italian jets are operating from Pirkala Air Base during the exercise, taking advantage of the F-35B's short takeoff and vertical landing design to prove they can generate sorties from austere, decentralized locations. The Italian detachment is using the exercise to train and practice NATO's ACE concept, a way of operating that spreads aircraft, people, and support across multiple locations to complicate targeting, reduce vulnerability, and keep combat power available even if main air bases are threatened. That emphasis on mobility and rapid dispersal echoes wider NATO training designed to sharpen cohesion and readiness under pressure. The highway-based activity requires tight civil-military coordination. By pairing Finnish expertise on dispersed operations with an Italian fifth-generation aircraft detachment focused on ACE, Imminent Field 26 underlines how Allied air forces are practicing to operate flexibly, sustain tempo, and preserve deterrence through distributed operations. The Finnish and Italian ACE activities also anticipate the third iteration of IASOM's premier live exercise, Ramstein Flag 2026. Ramstein Flag 2026 will operate from the northernmost parts of Norway to the southern reaches of Spain, focusing on counter-anti-access and area denial, C-A2AD, integrated air and missile defense, IAMD, and ACE. Story by Allied Air Command Public Affairs Office, with support from the Finnish Air Force and the Italian Air Force. Published May 21, 2026. Headline: First RQ-4D Phoenix operations in Norway mark NISRF milestone. On May 21, 2026, the NATO Intelligence, Surveillance and Reconnaissance Force, NISRF, achieved a significant milestone with the arrival of an RQ-4D Phoenix remotely piloted aircraft in Norway. This marks the first time a NISRF RQ-4D Phoenix has operated from Norwegian territory and only the third time the system has operated outside Italian Air Force Base Sigonella, Italy. Operating from Norway as part of Agile Combat Employment, ACE, demonstrates NISRF's ability to deliver ISR flexibly from dispersed locations in support of NATO operations. In preparation, personnel from the NISRF Training Center conducted training for local support staff, ensuring a seamless integration of procedures and capabilities on site. Brigadier General John B. Creel, Commander NISRF, said, This underscores the flexibility and readiness of the NATO intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance force. Operating the RQ-4D Phoenix from Norway highlights our ability to deliver ISR effects wherever required in support our alliance. Colonel Ole Marius Torresblas, Base Commander, Chief 132 Air Wing, said, "Hosting the RQ-4D Phoenix in Norway is a significant step in strengthening our cooperation with NISRF and NATO. This reflects our shared commitment to collective defense and operational readiness." As a unique, multinational force within the alliance operating NATO-owned aircraft, NISRF brings together personnel from across NATO to deliver persistent ISR, ensuring commanders have timely and reliable information to support decision-making. Story by NISRF Public Affairs Office, with support from the Royal Norwegian Air Force. Published May 21, 2026. Headline: Allied Airpower strengthens C-A2AD capabilities under NATO EVA Eastern Sentry. On May 21, 2026, Allied Airpower strengthened multi-domain integration and counter anti-access and area denial (C-A2AD) capabilities during a high-end training event over the Baltic region, conducted under the framework of the Enhanced Vigilance Activity Eastern Sentry. Led by Combined Air Operations Centre Bodo as the key command and control (C2) node to monitor the airspace, this deterrence-oriented activity showcased NATO's resolve and unity across the airspace over the eastern flank. By focusing on the execution of complex C-A2AD operations, tactical C2, and rapid information sharing, the Find, Fix, Track and Target F2T2, training demonstrated NATO's agile and adaptive posture. It highlighted the ongoing transition from air policing to air defense, providing a more flexible coordination of forces and maintaining constant situational awareness to protect Allied territory against any airborne threat. This multi-domain environment included air, maritime, land, and space domains. It also seamlessly integrated simulated long-range land and maritime fires, which were synchronized with air domain assets. During the integrated air operations, Romanian F-16 fighter jets operated alongside French Rafale and Mirage 2000D aircraft. These assets, including detachments currently deployed to the Baltic region in support of NATO's air policing missions, focused on aligning tactics, techniques, and procedures, TTPS, under challenging operational conditions. To sustain this extensive live-flying activity, French A330 MRTT tankers provided aerial refueling capabilities throughout the mission. French Captain Lucas said, "This type of mission reflects the kind of high-end training we conduct during the Tactical Leadership Program. Working alongside allied nations in a realistic scenario strengthens our interoperability and demonstrates that NATO air forces operate as a credible and fully integrated joint force." French Captain Lucas added, "As the mission commander, coordinating the different military effects across all domains was particularly challenging. Operational support and intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance, ISR, expertise were provided by a NATO RQ-4D Global Hawk from the NATO Intelligence, Surveillance, and Reconnaissance Force. Ultimately, these routine assurance activities prove the alliance's continuous approach to safeguarding its airspace, lifting the train-as-you-fight methodology to a higher level of combat readiness. These activities continue to test and prove NATO's ability to operate cohesively and decisively. The integrated multi-domain effort highlights that the alliance remains vigilant along the eastern flank, maintaining a strong and credible defensive posture along NATO's eastern flank. Story by Allied Air Command Public Affairs Office, with support from the French Air and Space Force. Published May 25, 2026.
That wraps up this flight of the Allied Airpower podcast, where news-driven updates meet the authentic voices behind the mission to defend every inch of NATO territory. Until our next sortie, stand ready in the air, secure in cyberspace, and steadfast on our path to the stars.